Good morning, everyone. So, in the Shemesh Shuma again, we're skipping a few, not skipping, but a few of them were a little too long, and my preparation time yesterday was not that long, so I'm going to go back to them. But Siman Lamed Chet, the next kind of regular size one, this question maybe should have been before Mimona, but his question is, what bracha do you make on the Mufleta? That's his question, Rabbi Shalom Asas. What bracha do you make on Mufleta? Okay, so Mufleta, for those that don't know, a thin dough that we're going to explain how it's made. So there's two ways how you can make it seems, and they have differences in halacha, but don't worry, the outcome at the end won't be different. So there's something called blila raka and blila ava. So when you make bread, it's flour and water. So this item is also flour and water. So what makes it different? So when it comes to flour and water items, you could have it what's called blila raka, a mixture that is soft, or a wet mixture, like pancake mix, where you have it's flour and water, but it's wet. And once it hits the pan or whatever, then it hardens up and becomes something, or like a waffle mix. As opposed to blila ava, where it's a thick thing of dough, like a bread. So automatically, once it's a wet dough type of thing, like a pancake mix, that is going to be mezonot off the bat. That doesn't have the look of bread, and that's a straight out Shulchan Aruch, something that's from like a wet mix, and it's something very thin, it's mezonot. And it seems that there are some mufletas that are done that way, but I think most of them are done the other way, where it's actual dough. That's called blila ava. So now, if it's done actual dough, now it goes to the level, because everyone says mezonot on it, right? So it goes to the mezonot level once you fry it. Once you fry dough, then it's mezonot. For instance, you go to Pizza Cafe, we'll give them some advertising, why not? You go to Pizza Cafe, and you get those garlic knots, right? So what is it? It's pieces of dough that you put in the fryer, and then he spices it with garlic and stuff. But that's straight up dough that you're going to have for pizza, or you can make bread with it. But because it's fried, it's mezonot. Sufganiyot, it's bread, it has some stuff inside, it has caramel, it has whatever you want inside, but it's fried, it's mezonot. So here as well, you put it on the oil, and it's mezonot. He doesn't talk about the ones that, I guess you take them and you don't fry it on much oil, but I guess you put on top of the pan, on the outside of a pan where it's kind of like baked. But they all end up with that same very oily texture. And it's not like a pita or a laffa bread where you would think if I take dough and I spread it on this hot surface of an upside down pan or something like that, it's going to turn into a laffa. Then you got a different. If it turns into a laffa, it's a laffa and it's not mufleta. But mufleta is the thin, very oily, and therefore because of the oil, etc., it is mezonot. Plus, he says that you eat it with sweetness. You eat it with honey. You eat it with butter and sugar. So even though it's not baked with it and it's coming right after, but that's the way to always eat it. And those constitute anyways as a mezonot item. When I have a mixture, like you go to the bakery, you have bread, which is hamotzi, and you have all these baked items that are mezonot. What makes it mezonot? So one of the things is that if it's baked with sweet things. So here it's not baked with the sweetness, it's because the fried, that's the reason why. But another reason he says is it's always eaten with sweet. It's a sweet thing. It's a delicacy, a sweet thing. And therefore it's going to be mezonot. Sweet challah? So raisin challah, from what I understand, is still hamotzi because the actual bread itself is actual bread, and they put the raisins in there. It's not like mixed in with the actual, meaning the actual dough is still regular dough, and the bread this is the answer that I received from one of my Rosh Yeshivas when I was studying in Ner Israel, and I was there for Shavuot, and they always have very sweet chalot and stuff. So I asked him about this. He said that it's regular dough, and there's just raisins inside, but it's all regular dough, as opposed to if the dough itself was with other items, not just flour and water, but flour, water, and sugar, etc. What?
You know that the tortilla with all these things that...
We're not Mexican, we're Moroccan, but what? Tortilla. The burrito. Yes, those very, very thin, they call tortillas, they call them, what else do they call them? They call them wraps, whatever. wraps, Americanized wraps. So the wraps as well. So that's a good question, an excellent question, because that is used as like a bread substitute. You put food inside, you wrap it, and now you have like a bread substitute. So there is a discussion about it. I remember discussing this with Rabbi Yasayag. Rabbi Yasayag said it's mezonot as well. It doesn't have the tsurat hapat. That's another thing that you need for the bracha of hamotzi. That has to look like bread. Even though I make an item out of flour and water, so it's too thin to be tsurat hapat. I did once hear a shiur in Eretz Yisrael from a great rabbi who's now the new Rosh Yeshiva of Eshet Torah, not so new, maybe 5 years, Rabbi Berkowitz, and I'm pretty sure he said to do hamotzi, but there is a discussion about it because it's also belila ava. It comes from a thick dough, and then they make very, 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 very thin tortillas. So, but Rabbi Yisrael and many others are of the opinion, and I personally make a mezonot on tortillas, and that's certainly the flour ones. The corn ones for sure. There might even be shakol at that point because you can't even see the corn. But we're talking about the flour ones, the wheat ones. Those are mezonot. Chazak Baruch for bringing that up. Okay, that's that for today. So on your mufleta, you'll make a mezonot, no matter how it's made, and we'll throw in the tortilla as well, mezonot, and enjoy your long week when breakfast, lunch. We'll give you a few items to think about today for your breakfast. Okay, that's that for today. Mincha at 6:55. Have a good day, everyone. Tanad Eliyahu.